Okay, well, hey, hi, hello, welcome back, Alexandrian Codex. I'm playing Hoi 4 again. Kaiserreich, finally, 0 out, divided states have come out. These are some long-ass change logs, but show me. No. Hide this, expand this. I don't want to watch advertisement. Alright, goodbye. Essentially, the United States Civil War has been reworked. There's been some reworks in Central America, hence why Honduras, El Salvador, Guatemala, the United Mexican States, Nicaragua, Costa Rica are now featured down here prominently. I don't believe there have been any changes to the map. Maybe down here? What this? Is that a DMZ? I think that was in here before. I can't remember. All the same, I'm hopping in as the US. Jesus Christ, this is hype. My patriotism on a scale like 1 to 10 is a solid like 2 or 3, but it's doing it for me. Okay. Kaiserreich proudly presents Kaiserreich Alpha version 0.8 Divided States for Hearts of Iron 4 for months now. Our team has worked from every corner of the world to bring this mod to you. We hope you enjoyed playing it as much as we did making it. Should also be aware the mod is designed with the assumption that the player will always annex all possible states and peace treaties, so you should make sure to do this. We'd also like to remind you that this is still an alpha, so expect bugs, crashes, and various headaches. If and when you encounter any of these, please report them on our GitHub bug tracker. If you have any other questions, don't hesitate to ask, but please check the endgame FAQ first. I turned it up. I turned the music up when I started this, and like, yeah, it's super quiet. No. Something is missing. Useful FAQ. Just thank you, Kaiserreich team. This is the president of the internet. Yeah. I want to know everything. Welcome to our new home. Thank you for joining us in our new home. We're sorry about the trouble, but hopefully 0.8 more than makes up for it. We hope you enjoyed the new update. Yep, I actually forgot to install the new mod, so when I started up, we were playing the old version. So the United States is, I think it's possible to avoid the Civil War now? Am I right about that? Or am I wrong about that? God, I can't remember. I read the dev diaries when they came out like months ago. I do not remember jack shit. Well, you know, we'll just do the usual. I was thinking going with the Pacific States of America this time around. I don't know, I have a real soft spot for the CSA, so I might just go for that. Well, we'll see how it goes. Victory in the Civil War. Again, Reconstruction, American Caesar. Fair deal. Democracy prevails. Defend America. Oh yeah, fucking Curtis is no longer a potential candidate. Yeah, that blows. U.S. Air Force, U.S. Navy, Monroe Doctrine. Okay, so I can research U.S. Air Force or U.S. Navy, or focus on those? Really, that's it. Shit. Wow, okay, that's quite limiting. Defend America requires Civil War must have been avoided or begun. Okay, fair enough. Huh, okay, U.S. Air Force, we get air bases, women are allowed to become military pilots. Eventually getting rocketry and jet technology, not amazing. U.S. Navy gets its naval expertise. Research that we really won't use. The naval yards might be nice. Yeah, the expanded dockyards might be nice. Yeah, let's go for expanded dockyards, because that's really the only thing I'm seeing worthwhile right now. And the reason being, if I do play the CSA, or regardless, any inheritor state to the United States, will have the benefit of having these naval dockyards, even though they didn't have to build them, so that's my logic. The American Navy was once the pride of the world, yet much of it deserted to traitors. We should review what forces stay loyal to our government so we can best determine how they can serve in the war. Wow, okay, this is just presuming that the Civil War is going to happen. Not wrong. It's not wrong to presume. It's just surprising. Should I go with the CSA? Should I not go with the CSA? I'm gonna go with the CSA because I like going with the CSA. Yep. Alright, we'll start building that. That's gonna take a long time because we're gonna be hit by Black Monday. I get assigned this. 3 military factories. Yeah. See, so none of that. Really, the only thing... Well, we could play the United States and try to keep it together. Yeah, you know, let's start with that. Let's try to avoid the Civil War. Probably not going to happen, but best laid plans of mice and men, etc., etc. Oh god, no, not the entire front. I just want you to form a front in New York for you all to get assigned to. I guess... Fucking... who... We got Smedley Butler, who's gonna switch over. We got Harding, who's... Edwin Harding's actually, like, really good. Like, really fucking good? God damn, yeah, give me... Right, don't have any of that. Let's assign you a field marshal. Nope, wrong way to do that. MacArthur? Eisenhower? Bradley? George Marshall? Henry Arnold? Okay, MacArthur is real good. That's comparison. He's actually worse than George Marshall if we're just looking at the skills. His supply is a little worse. Career officer, politically connected, career officer, organizer, offensive doctrine, whereas MacArthur has media personality? Yeah, I'm gonna go with George. No, I'm not. I'm gonna go with Henry Arnold. He's a 4444. He's politically connected, career officer, so very easy to promote. Planning speed, vision recovery rate. He doesn't have some other modifiers I rather like, but not bad. Not great, but not bad. What do we want to do with our dockyards? Oh yeah, the fucking ships have been reworked. Experimental heavy carrier. Capital ship able to carry wings, a powerful carrier-capable aircraft, and battle also useful as a boat. Honestly, I know this is disappointing. I'm just gonna start a whole bunch of convoys, because convoys don't eat up manpower, and boats are nice and all, but I would probably prefer the manpower. Get you all go to Boston Harbor. Why Boston? Because I think, if I'm remembering right, New England stays loyal to the United States until it defects to Canada. At least that's the way it used to work. You all are assigned to boats, right? I don't want to touch you. You, on the other hand, are assigned to nothing, and I would rather just free up these planes. Okay, so field artillery would be great, but honestly, that's something we may not be able to afford. Right now I just want to be making as much infantry equipment as possible. National Guard Division. Yeah, okay, not terrible. Infantry Division, fair enough. Cavalry Division, Panama Garrison, Marine... Okay, National Guard Division's probably what we're going to be pumping out. I'm not proud of that fact, but infantry divisions I naturally like more. So why can I not change template? I can on some of you. What? You stay the same. Cav, let's have you change to infantry. It's you that can't change. Okay, well that's fine. I would like to make some artillery, I guess. I guess. That'll do. Do. How many do I want? I want 19 of these. Sure, yeah, 17. That's what I meant. 17, not 19 at all. And no decisions to make. Yeah, because I have no political power and I won't for a long, long time. Sure, we'll try to avoid the United States Civil War going in blind. In 1936, the United States of America is gripped by an unrelenting crisis, although able to avoid the horrors of the First Weltkrieg, which allowed its prosperity to continue well into the 1920s. German victory in the First Weltkrieg, followed by French and British revolutions, led to the Wall Street crash of 1925. This sent the United States spiraling to the Great Depression and allowed the Berlin stock market to take its place at the forefront of the world economy. The election of Herbert Hoover in 1928, while initially promising, failed entirely to reverse the decline of the American economy, and by 1936, the country had spent over a decade in the midst of a world financial crisis, the worst financial crisis it had ever seen. This fueled the rise of radical parties in America, from the far-left Socialist Party of America to the far-right America First Party. Hoover's contentious re-election by means of the House of Representatives in 1932 and the ongoing Great Depression means that these problems are unlikely to be resolved anytime soon. Though many throughout the country fear the upheaval that would result from one of the extreme parties coming to power, or should the Depression continuing unabated. God save America. Refocus. Yeah, right. Yeah, well, it doesn't matter. Unpause. Oh, Canada. I'm very curious how Central America works now. To describe it as working before would be generous. Kerensky has just been shot and killed while on the way to the Senate. The assailant was taken down by police, but the goals and intentions of the attacker are unknown. Despite his massive unpopularity among the Russian people, due to botched land reform and ineffective rule, Kerensky was nevertheless able to hold the country together for years, and his death has thrown Russia into chaos. Senators are already discussing possible replacement to Kerensky. New coalitions are being formed both within the left and the right, while military men like Denikin, Wrangel, and Kornilov are just one step away from intervening to dissolve democracy and save Mother Russia. So Condor reworked stuff in South America. I played around with that a little bit, but I don't think I streamed or recorded playing around with that. It's sort of interesting. Argentina, I almost always say Argentina. Argentina and Brazil are now a bit more active on a global scale. They can get in the Weltkrieg a lot easier due to investments by the Germans down here, but The total was chartered. Mussolini, Valois, Beria, and other interested parties arrived in Birmingham today to discuss their common ground. It's been agreed that Maximism, Sorelianism, and National Syndicalism all share basic principles of the state's primacy in the socialist struggle, the role of the national identity within the state, and importance of a strong central authority to preserve and build socialism. The Charter also states the socialist state is the final state in the human development. Democracy is not necessary to achieve socialism. These statements have drawn great criticisms from other socialist factions, who gave it the name Totalism, as a play on totalitarian socialism, which has been eagerly accepted by Mosley, who added it to the manifesto's name, attributing it to their commitment to socialism. Edward VIII crowned as King of Britain. George V, last King of Great Britain and Ireland, who have ruled the home isles themselves, have passed while in exile in Canada. First Windsor King, his reign shall be remembered with sorrow and sadness, as during it, Britain lost both the Weltkrieg and its homeland. The crown was inherited by Edward, Prince of Wales, who now stylizes himself as Edward VIII. King Edward is a vengeful and ambitious man, not on good terms with Prime Minister Mackenzie King. Lives on the goal of avenging his father and reconquering the British Isles, and thus is quite popular among British exiles in Canada, among others. We'll see what the AI decides to do for the King's speech. Cancel this, cancel that. What does the United States hold on to? We hold on to, in the Civil War, a decent part of the West. give or take that. I think we have up until here to actually pop out some civilian factories. I don't think we'll get any done. The timing used to be that you wouldn't have any time to get anything done, but we'll see how this works. So I'm just grouping all of our boats together because I don't have anything to do with them right now. In the Civil War, we might. Ideally, we can avoid the Civil War, though I somewhat doubt it. Profits from legation cities? Alright, even if it's only for a short time. Yeah, Black Monday immediately fired. So we get profits from legation cities, factory output plus 5%. Black Monday on the 3rd of February 1936, the Berlin Stock Exchange stopped sinking. It plunged. Fueled by instability and market panic, selling erupted as soon as the stock market opened on Monday morning. It took well into the night for teleprinters to stop sputtering out the results of what had become known as Black Monday. When the results have been analyzed, it was clear that this situation had only gotten worse. The shock of the unprecedented economic catastrophe will no doubt be felt over the entire world. The German Golden Age has ended. For now, at least. We don't have Black Monday. Nope, we just have political crisis, Great Depression. The Commune of France, this world's leading syndicalist nation, united as a federation of city communes and directed by the Committee de Salut Public, the chief executive. Ever since its inception, however, the Second Commune was not uniform in policy. Numerous factions arose, each with own ideas of which path France should take. As the time for revenge against Germany and world revolution closes in, the CGT election of 1936 is said to be very important. It was so important, in fact, that none of the four factions could acquire a majority. Much like before the election, a coalition must be found, but how will this change the shape of Commune's politics? Only the men in the CSP itself know. It's worth taking a minute to read the descriptions on things. Great Depression. Since the collapse of the New York stock market in 1925, the United States has been gripped by Great Depression. In addition to the massive economic woes plaguing America from this never-ending crisis, the Great Depression has given energy both to Long and Reed as they campaign against each other and the establishment. Political crisis. The United States is in crisis. The Great Depression, which had been ravaging our nation for over a decade, has still not let up. Popular desperation has allowed the far-left Syndicalist Party of America, Socialist Party of America, and far-right America First Party to gain strength in recent years. Others look to MacArthur and the Army as a way to solve both depression and radicalization. Many worry that the United States could descend into civil war should our current situation not be resolved, or a radical presidential candidate win in the upcoming 1936 election. Legation cities. The formation of the legation cities, nominally giving every nation equal access to the Chinese market, brought with it considerable profits for some countries. Considerably, there we go, less for others. Cool, so despite the political turmoil and ineffectual economic relief programs, seemed to many as if the economy of the United States might finally be undergoing a slow recovery after the Wall Street crash in 1925. Black Monday has put an end to such hopes. And this sounded the death knell for an already ailing economy. Republicans and Democrats have both pledged to fix the economy should they win the election, though public confidence in them is rapidly waning. Both Reed and Long have rallied hard against the corrupt banking and political sectors, which they blame for allowing the crash to happen. Yeah, so, like, now I'm not getting shit built. No? This hasn't gone down significantly enough? Okay. We'll read about the Anglo-Afghani War first. The coalition ticket. The 1936 election is looking to be one of the most contentious in American history. Many politicians within the upper circle of Republican and Democratic parties fear that a victory by the Socialist Party of America or the America First Party would mean the end of America and the American way of life. In order to avoid this, a plan has been proposed within the halls of power to form a coalition ticket between Republican and Democratic parties with the progressive Senator Floyd Olson of Minnesota and the presidential candidate. This plan is unlikely to be popular with lower-ranking members of the parties, but it may be the only thing that can prevent the radical parties from gaining strength. Forming the coalition would lose stability and political power, and not forming it... Let's go with forming it. This is new. This is interesting. Meanwhile, the Fifth Anglo-Afghani War rages after the Veldt Creek. The British Raj collapsed into turmoil of warfare. The neighboring kingdom of Afghanistan took advantage of this opportunity to siege Peshawar and Quetta. Both border regions of the Dominion. However, the Afghani government's attempts to modernize over the last decades have been met with fierce resistance, as the conservative elements within the country King Amanullah Khan now hopes to use turmoil in Delhi following the death of King George to his advantage. By repeating the success of the Fourth Anglo-Afghan War, the king hopes to silence conservative opposition and bring new lands to the crown. However, international experts do not place many hopes on the tiny mountain nation winning this conflict. Unpause. Everything is terrible. Alright, we're done with the US Navy. We can work on US Air Force. Still nothing else. Nothing else. Not a fair deal. Not democracy prevails. Not defend America. Jesus Christ, this is a huge tech tree. So this requires one of the following. Either light cruiser, battle cruiser, or... Okay, so it doesn't matter what we pick. We can get down to expanded dockyards. Great. Great, 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 great. Oh, what one of these do we want to do? I haven't much thought about it. Fleet and Being I tend to very much like for the badass dreadnoughts and battleships that you can get. Yeah, I mean let's go dreadnought, right? We're America, so you know aircraft carriers are pretty emblematic of the United States, but Alex hates using aircraft carriers, so I kind of want to go with Fleet and Being. Yeah, let's go with Fleet and Being. Why not? Great White Fleet. The Great White Fleet was a height of American power. We should look back to it for inspiration. A great fleet of battleships and dreadnoughts will ensure we always have naval superiority versus carriers are the way of the future. I mean, you're not wrong, but I also don't like using carriers in this game, so... Yeah, the next... I almost said mod. The next version of this coming out is pretty exciting. Hearts of Iron 4, I mean, for the changes to naval combat, it's very curious. With violence and instability sweeping the country, the FP and SPA began to form various paramilitary militias, which they claim are necessary to protect the people. Seen patrolling the strongholds and party rallies, these well-armed and equipped paramilitary units have already engulfed and engaged in scattered, though extremely violent, conflicts. This can turn very, very bad, very, very fast. Since the nomination of Senator Olson as the presidential candidate, the politically minded have discussed a great interest in likely vice presidential candidate. Finally putting rumors to rest, Quentin Roosevelt was announced as vice president for the coalition ticket yesterday in New York City. In his announcement, he emphasized wanting to help major reforms to the country through a plan called the Fair Deal. Though this plan was denounced by the SPA and AFP as being nowhere near enough to help the average American, economists believe it may be enough to end the Great Depression. Fair deal, a deal that is fair, a deal that is square. You know, until reading that aloud, I didn't realize that rhymed. Wow, it's way over my head. 13 divisions. I want 15 divisions to help round this out. Maybe we can turn them into infantry divisions if we're very, very lucky, but I'm somewhat doubtful. Death of Pius XI. All Christendom mourns the death of His Holiness Pope Pius XI. Died following a heart attack after being in declining health for several years, something which rapidly worsened following Black Monday. The Holy Father will soon be interred with the rest of his predecessors in the Tomb of the Popes. Until the next Pope can be chosen, the Papal State will be ruled by the College of Cardinals in Rome. The secession of His Holiness is made all the more important due to the Catholic Church's role in governing the reborn nation, as well in its vehement opposition to syndicalism, a force which has divided the north and south of Italy along the River Po and seems to once again seeks to once again reunify the Italian peninsula. Rip Pope Man. I'm surprised that we have any civilian factories at all. I remember us being in such bad shape in past mods that, or past versions, that we couldn't build anything. 3 years ago today, Father Charles Coughlin began a weekly radio broadcast in America, and now it claims over 50 million people. He's a raving anti-Semite who claims the syndicalist revolution of France was fomented by the Jew, and that the Berlin stock market crash is an international conspiracy of Jewish bankers. Somehow, people still tune in. His hate speech will not be tolerated by the church, and the Pope is expected to make a decision whether to ask the United States government to shut down his broadcast so that his hateful message cannot reach the public. What Pope, though? There is no Pope. Yeah, I mean, let's get Alex Jones off the air. Restoration of democracy in Australasia, for now. The Australasian Confederation has been under the authoritarian rule of Governor William Birdwood since the British invocation of the emergency protocols in 1924, considered by many in the nation to have been a heavy-handed response to the Melbourne Common Syndicalist uprising. Birdwood finally relented the calls for an open election, leading to the surprise result of Earl Page's Country Party achieving a minority government in Canberra Parliament. Page is expected to have a tough time ahead of him, with labour unrest on the rise, and calls for the revocation of Birdwood's more egregious restrictions on personal liberty. Doubt it. Sincerely doubt that'll stick around. Our political power is fucking horrible. Just fucking horrible. Maneuvers into Carpathians. Treaty of Bucharest in 1918 officially ended the Weltkrieg for Romania. But what cost? Romania was now dominated by German and Austrian industries, most of her coastline was annexed by Bulgaria, and the Great Carpathian Mountains separating Romania from Hungary were put under firm Austro-Hungarian control. The humiliation Romania endured resulted in it devolving into a national populist dictatorship, led by the Conductor Cornelio Codreno. God, I can't pronounce his name. Codrenu and his Iron Guard set aside to restore Romania to what they say it should have been, a titan of the Balkans. Their first major move is a large-scale military exercise, seemingly in preparation to seize the Carpathians and perhaps the land beyond. Is Austria done? Is your focus tree still a work in progress? Hey, shit, yeah, Austria's actually done. When did this happen? Hell yeah. The Papal Conclave. Catholic faithful in Rome breathed a sigh of relief as the Sistine Chapel's chimney billowed forth white smoke, signifying the election of a new pope. A short time later, it was announced that the charitable Elia Cardinal Dalla Costa had become His Holiness Pope Stephen X. Leader of the Catholic Church and head of state of Rome, many speculated it would not be long before His Holiness surrenders the Church's control over the government to a more secular institution, St. Peter, as a new occupant. More SPA members announcing congressional bids. While there have been a number of lawmakers in the Socialist Party of America, particularly in the Steel Belt, not yet the Rust Belt, the 1936 election represents an unprecedented number of people registering to run for office under the banner of the SPA, and just as many, if not more, pledging to vote for them. St. Patrick's Day flood on March 16, 1936, warmer than usual temperatures led to the melting of large amounts of snow and ice on the upper Allegheny and Monongahela rivers. The rivers and their tributaries had already overflowed their banks and were soon threatening the city of Pittsburgh. On March 17, 1936, the waters reached flood stage of 25 feet. Then, overnight, heavy rain caused the water to rise even further, and on March 18th, the water peaked at about 46 feet, 21 feet above the flood stage. This is already the worst disaster in the city's history, and local authorities have already requested federal aid. Yeah, well, definitely we help the people. The people. Would I be drilling this army? Yeah, probably. Well, we're already having equipment shortages, so, The First International Congress. Delegates from socialist nations and political movements around the world gathered in Paris today for the latest in a series of world congresses. While the mantle of the Third Internationale was taken up by the Communards under the Russian Civil War, the ideological tenor of the event promises to be very different, with syndicalist parties being the new dominant force on the far left. Delegates were greeted by a military parade and an exhibition from the avant-garde art. Okay, not the avant-garde art. And finally a speech by the chairman of the CSP. At the top of the agenda is spread of the revolution to Asia, North America, ongoing conflicts in Spain, policy on colonialism, the requirements for membership in the Third Internationale's military alliance. Yeah, so like, don't support North America though, just do me a huge favor and don't do that. This requires either battleship development, naval aviation, okay, just something. Battleship development is easily what I'm most interested in here. Yeah. In fact, super heavy dreadnought, interwar fast battleship. So we have the Nebraska, the largest capital ship with the biggest guns, strongest armor money can buy. Yeah, interwar fast battleships. Let's take a look at the research tree, because I haven't looked at this since it's been redone. Ooh, wow. Fancy. Alright, capital ships. I think primarily we're going to be focusing on dreadnoughts, fast battleships, and escorts, maybe? Yeah, I mean, escorts are kind of a necessary component of that. Surprisingly, we're not behind time. Wow, on naval research. I really expected us to be. Okay, yeah, that's fine. Let's rework some things down here, though. So I want to be making dreadnoughts. I want to be making fast battleships. I would like to be making improved armored cruisers. I would like to be making... Where to go? Don't care about carriers, though I probably should. What is the difference between the Porter and the Litchfield? Same construction cost. Porter class, 197.30, 20.8. Right, this says better sub detection. 14.1, 14 or 11.4. 14.1, 11.4. 220, 44.6. 220. Better sub detection, worse torpedo attack. Better depth charges. Naval firepower 10.5, 1.5. They even have the same description. 36, 56, HP 58, HP 58, armor 0.5, armor probably 0.5, piercing 6. I wish I could do a side-by-side comparison of these. I suppose firing range of 11.4, firing range of 11.4. You have better sub-detection. You have worse sub-detection. Really, sub-detection is the point of these kinds of boats. So let's prioritize that. Go ahead and get rid of that. Kiss that goodbye. Two, 4, 6, 8. I can have a full line of that, and that's balanced. Yeah, I mean, I have more than enough convoys, right? And I'm probably going to have more than enough convoys. I can go down to 4, so we can increase each of these by 1. I would love for these to be assigned to the U.S. Pacific Battle Fleet, which is neither in the Pacific, nor will we really be using it actively to battle. We have a chromium shortage. Who'd I get? Chromium from someone. So Cuba has chromium. Cuba's relatively nearby. I will trade with you. Right, we're good now? Good. That makes Cuba a very tempting prospect for imperialist ambition. In Iowa, the number of progressives has gotten into conflict. That's Idaho. Come on, Alex, you're better than this. Iowa. The number of progressives who've gotten into a conflict with Republicans. The Republicans are accusing progressives of alienating people needed to win the election, while progressives are accusing Republicans of not pushing the policies needed to end the Depression. This fighting is creating a wedge in the coalition. Force a compromise. National Unity Party. God, that is... I did... You like fascism? Because this is how you get fascism. Yes, we just need a... Ooh. Tibet has joined the Great Khanate. Maklik is going to get attacked, undoubtedly. Yeah, I'm really curious about if I'm doing the right thing to avoid the Civil War. While there have been a number of lawmakers in the America First Party, particularly in South, the 1936 election represents an unprecedented number of people registering to run for office under the banner of the AFP, and just as many, if not more, pledging to vote for them. Olson's nomination in a massive rally in Sacramento with leading members from the Republican, Democratic, and Progressive parties, Senator Olson himself came to accept his nomination as coalition presidential candidate. This massive rally has been surprisingly well received by the press and those attending it. Hopefully, it can translate to election success. Well, with the stability of 16, I wouldn't bet on it. The 36th Stanley Cup. Two teams have made it to the Stanley Cup Finals, the Detroit Red Wings and the Toronto Maple Leafs. The winner of the games will be in the 1936 NHL champions and will receive the Stanley Cup. Yeah, I mean, smart money's on Toronto here. Yeah, the Toronto Maple Leafs win the 36th Stanley Cup. Toronto beat Detroit in a 4-game series for the Stanley Cup, bringing the Maple Leafs their 4th victory in the finals. The Red Wings have yet to win the Stanley Cup, but are determined to play hard next season to finally win. Yeah, man, it'd be great to have political power to take these actions, but... Nope. That's a bit beyond our purview right now. Is eerily quiet. You know, it is metaphorically calm before the storm, but that doesn't make it any less relaxing. Yep, there's this war. See if Tibet gets dragged into it. It hasn't. Oh, there it is. Now this war can actually drag on for quite some time if the AI is bad. The Panamanians... Is that really what you call someone from Panama? Panamanian? I guess so. Have begun a small-scale military assault in the Coto region of Costa Rica, which they have had a claim on for some time. Should threaten intervention to prevent this from turning to a full-scale war. Oh, apparently I don't have a choice. Let us intervene. Gonna respond well to that intervention, or no? Probably no. Battleship development is done. I need all of the following. So I need battlecruiser, light cruiser development for expanded dockyards. You got it, boss. You got it. Our war support is horrible. God, yeah, just all of these numbers are abysmal. Political power, awful. Party popularity, awful. Stability, god-awful. War support, fucking terrible. Just don't look at it. Just don't look at it. Pay no heed to how everything's falling apart. Go ahead and get that. Concentrated industry... Is this still worth doing? Yeah, I think concentrated industry is still my favorite. Battle cruisers represent a middle balance between heavy battleships and faster cruisers we should ensure we have some in our Navy. Really, you should ensure that you have some of everything in your Navy with this new naval rework. Indian Citizenship Act. In order to gain more sympathy with the North and West, it's been proposed by the Senate and House that an Indian Citizenship Act be passed, effectively elevating all indigenous peoples of the United States from second-class citizens to full citizenship. Yes. Disunity within the coalition, Democratic and Republican parties have long been at odds since they came to national prominence. As we try to keep our coalition party together, a number of Democrats and Republicans have been getting into verbal shouting matches in the Capitol. While they're just minor members, the conflict could destabilize the whole coalition, if it's allowed to spread. We can either come down hard on one side or try to force a compromise. Force a compromise. Listen, we're not playing favorites right now. Fuckboys need to get in line. Quit. There we go. Huey Long speaks. Democratic Party and Republican Party were just like the old patent medicine drummer that used to come around their country, who had 2 bottles of medicine. Play the banjo and sell 2 bottles of medicine. One of the bottles of medicine was called High Popolorum. Another one of the bottles was called Low Popolorum. Finally, somebody around there said, "Is there any difference between the bottles of medicine?" He said, "Oh, considerable. Both good, but they're different," he said. "That high popolorum is made of bark of the tree we take from the top down, and the low popolorum made from the bark we take from the root up. The only difference I've found between Democratic leadership and Republican leadership is that one of them's skinning you from the ankle up, the other from the ear down." When I got to Congress. Huey Long is a fascinating historical character. Weird dude. The politics of this time period were actually surprisingly interesting, and the 10 or so years preceding this as well. Prior to World War II, in our actual history, was really the period of the United States history where it was most vulnerable to vulnerable is a strong word, a very colored word for this, had the most potential to have a socialist party that could stand on its own legs. 1936 Trade Union Congress in the Union of Britain was made to be decisive. Long-term chairman of TUC, Philip Snowden, declared his resignation, causing 4 major factions in the Union, Marxists, Autonomists, Federationists, and Congregationists, to butt heads over the position. His dust-settered Oswald Mosley, oh great, leader of the Maximus and totalist ideologue, has been appointed to the new chairman. Mosley's faction supports strong central government, full state control of the economy, and they're much more in favor of military action and British nationalism than they are of any other faction. Coup d'etat in Siam. News emerged from Bangkok today that a group of officers in intelligentsia calling themselves the Kaiserreich, or the People's Party, had successfully seized control of the government. Key government officials are under arrest, and the king and his heir are said to be safe and well looked at by the new government. Yeah, right. The statement was issued by a new prime minister announcing this was not a military coup, but a peaceful transition of power when a constitution is put in place. Doubt it. Sincerely doubt it. But okay, yeah, we'll see how that goes. Bum, 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 bum. Union Socialista Cristiana wins the election. The 5th Congress of the Socialist Republic of Italy has ended with the Union Socialista Cristiana, led by Giuseppe Romita, achieving a majority of seats in the government. Their victory marks change towards a more complicit Christian socialism within the Republic. Yeah, well... Oh, right, this. Great heat wave of 36. A great heat wave has struck the continental United States and Canada. Most severe heat wave in modern history in North America. The Great Heat Wave started in June and went up over 100 degrees Fahrenheit, 38 degrees Celsius. Its drought conditions worsened due to a continued lack of rain. Now, in July, the heat has reached all-time records. In Steele, North Dakota, temperatures have reached 121 degrees Fahrenheit, 51 degrees Celsius. In Ohio, temperatures have reached 110 degrees Fahrenheit, 43 degrees Celsius. which is close to setting a record high set in 1934. This comes at a time of major political unrest, as the America First Council is a major force in Midwest politics. The socialist and syndicalist forces gathering strength in the Great Lakes region, the drought is continuing, and over 3,000 reported deaths have been linked to it. Many people are suffering from heat stroke and heat exhaustion. Farmers across the continent saw their worst harvest on record, causing corn and wheat prices to skyrocket. This heat wave does not seem to be giving up anytime soon. Death of Big Bill Haywood. Today, one of the titans of the industrial workers of the world, William Big Bill Haywood, has passed away. His death marks the passing of a torch. Elizabeth Gurley Flynn spoke out at his funeral, saying, "History is a long-range perspective that ultimately passes stern judgment on tyrants and vindicates those who fought, suffered, and were imprisoned, and died for human freedom, against political opposition and economic slavery." While many other leaders within various union organizations, including his rivals in the AFL, also spoke at his funeral, as well as leaders within the Socialist Party of America, Jack Reed also spoke at the funeral, ending his speech with some of Haywood's quotes. "If the workers are organized, all they have to do is put their hands in their pockets. They've got the capitalist class whipped. A strike is an incipient revolution. Many large revolutions have grown out of a small strike. Remember, you are fighting for more than your own fight. You are fighting for the entire working class, and you must stand together." We're done with battle cruiser development. Light cruiser development. Lighter cruisers are important in anti-air operations, as well as attacking enemy destroyers and submarines. We should ensure our Navy has a handful of these in order to stay balanced. Really, should I be making destroyers at all? It kind of feels like they're a bit unnecessary. Give me a minute. I should have read up more. So we have interwar cruiser. I want to be making interwar cruisers, not destroyers. Yeah. Fuck destroyers. We don't need them. We probably need them, but we don't need them. I mean, I, as a person, am pretty socialist. Not communist, because the idea of communes is laughable in a modern world, but I often play communist with the CSA. We're not going CSA. What I'm trying to do is avoid the Civil War, but you know, if we don't avoid the Civil War, I'm either going PSA or CSA. Assuming the Pacific States are even in the game anymore. Oh, right, we could do this. Superior firepower tends to be very, very good, though with our militia's mass assault doctrine is quite tempting. I'd really, I would prefer to avoid having militias come into play at all. Fighters would be nice. Engineering, this more resources, might get us more factories. Okay, let's go with interwar artillery. You can avoid the Civil War, though without the guiding light of Curtis, it's a lot harder. Although the coalition is showing signs of success, there's already some dissent from various factions, the loudest voices belonging to those of Southern Democrats. Fucking imagine that. God, Southern Democrats. Many of whom are more conservative and are facing stiff competition from the America First candidates. The coalition has been largely dominated by Northern Democrats and Republicans, with progressives being the third wing of the coalition. We could try to force a compromise by promising to appoint Southern Democrats to the cabinet and other positions of power if we win. Of course, we could also ignore their protests and focus on winning the election instead. No. Definitely promise to appoint them. Where else would they go? Oh, I wonder where they would go. No, appoint them. We're keeping this family together. This self-loathing, unhappy, uncooperative family together. Oh god, yeah, this is gonna take a hot minute to get anything done. So at least I know now that with 0.8 you actually can build a couple of things before the Civil War. Oh god, that's abysmal. These are all just fucking abysmal. Just ignore it. It's fine. It's fine. If everything goes to shit, we can jump ship and plays the CSA and just say this was all according to plan. I'd also tag switch over to New England if they form. I can't remember, but I think New England has a reworked focus tree. Polish with wing. Oh, okay. So the I guess that's probably right. Yep. Poland elects a new king. For almost 2 decades, the Polish throne has remained empty. After the end of the Weltkrieg, a regency council was convened to elect a new Polish king. However, constituent interference and ineptitude has prevented the council from selecting a king for all these years. But now, after many weeks of intense debate inside the chambers of Polish Regency Council, the decision was finally made to elect a new monarch, the long-vacant Polish throne. The coronation of Mendog III, what a name, was held in the Palace of Warsaw early in the morning, and has been followed by parades and celebrations throughout the nation. It remains to be seen whether the new king can navigate the small Polish nation through the coming storms. Poland is the Poland-Lithuanian Commonwealth right now. They're a member of the Reichspakt, but right now they're deciding if they stay. Hopefully, I guess it doesn't affect me very much if they do, but for Germany's sake, they better hope that they stick in. Oh shit, we need a new focus. This is the entire reason I went with the naval tree. Let's expand our dockyards. Yep. Give me more naval dockyards. Leave it play. If you would be so kind. Now we're 2 away from finishing this. Do I want to start a whole new line of National Guard units? Or do I want to try to convert these National Guard divisions into proper infantry divisions? That is a lot of manpower and arms that it will take. But ideally, we'll be avoiding the Civil War completely. During the Civil War, we'll still be able to produce infantry equipment, though not as much. Maybe I should just sit on it? Yeah, for now, let's just sit and wait.
Ready to move.
Tell you what, no. Add one more, we can get this fucking Panama Canal Division out of here. And can I disband you? Oh, God, I can't even disband you. You go garrison DC. Tell you what, go do that. Just go do that. Blood on the streets of Shanghai. Yes! Oh, hell yes. Okay, this is really nice. So, the authority of the Legation Mandate Council has collapsed in a single night of blood and violence. Street gangs organized by Chinese criminal organizations have slaughtered many members of the police corps, administrators, and even a handful of the more influential delegates from the legation powers. The survivors hardly dare to leave their homes. Needless to say, with the triads in all but complete control of commercial activities, the payment of dividends from the cities has ceased. We could say that's too bad, and we lose the National Spirit Legation Cities dividends. Or we can say this cannot be allowed to stand, and we will declare an annex war on the Triad Syndicate, which will get us at war, which will let us... Well, we can't change any of this shit. But I think this is worth doing. So I'm just gonna say this cannot be allowed to stand. We're just gonna... Yeah, Japan and I both have war goals on you. I'm just gonna go ahead and do this. What? We have a naval base here in Guam. Yeah, in Guam. So, what at this tech level can I be transported? Naval doctrine? No, naval. Submarines, escort ships. Oh god. Oh yeah, I'm playing with the Kaiserreich mod. All of this is the Kaiserreich mod. I'm not seeing it. So in Vanilla Hoi 4, there's a tech that you can research under the naval doctrines or naval research to increase the amount of people divisions that you can land at any given time, but I'm not seeing that in here. So it's either baked into another technology. Oh, it's in here now. How about that? Okay, so 10. 10 is the largest we can get. Fair enough. So let's get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I didn't do that right.
Attention.
How did... Oh, I shift clicked. I didn't control click.
Listen up. Ready, sir. Attention.
That'll work. Okay, so we need an engineer, maybe. Commando wouldn't be bad. Lucian, you suck. I need someone who is pretty decent at making naval landings. Patton, would you be my boy? No. Oh. Smedley. Commando's very important. Cavalry leader sucks. What were you good at, Harding? Talk to me, Harding. What do you do? Commando, offensive. You know what? Actually, yeah. Let's assign Harding here. You can just be assigned something completely different. Just get unassigned. You get Harding.
Yes, sir.
For the time being, I want you to... Yeah. I want to plan a naval invasion from Guam. We gonna hit Shanghai. So step 1 is everybody's gonna have to move over to Guam. No. Gonna rebase our navy. Oh, out here. We have Hazy. Halsey. Hazy. Now, Ironside is very good, so let's go with you. I'm gonna just find you somewhere to rebase. I guess Guam. Yeah, but the supply is gonna be a problem. Fuck it. Go to Guam. What I want you to do is convoy escort. No? What I want to do is just unclick that. Convoy escort. I want to be doing it here, here, here. Here, and here. Sure, yeah. Let's say that.
Yes, sir.
Alright, the Japanese have also declared war on the Triad Syndicate. The Japanese will probably win this war entirely on their own. I'm gonna call in the Philippines and Liberia just to spice things up a little bit. Gone with the Wind. Margaret Mitchell published today her novel Gone with the Wind, which immediately received wide support and may be nominated for the new Pulitzer Prize. Set in the Old South during the American Civil War, many see it as an analogy for a strained political situation in the United States. Many American First Southerners claim the novel supports their cause. Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn. So the Triad is pretty small. Pretty small. They have control over a few coastal cities in China. They're really not a threat at all, which is why I'm so excited about our ability to declare war on them, because the United States really can't beat much of anyone in a war early on. But the Triad, we can beat them. Of course, Japan will probably beat me to the punch, as they're right fucking here, but whatever. When Manuel Charles executed a coup within the Argentinian state in Christmas 1935, the nation was torn apart in a vicious struggle for control over the presidency. LP and forces from the Argentinian Navy quickly took control of the capital, but were stopped by forces from the army, who quickly began asserting their dominance over the entire nation, leading to a bloody and drawn-out struggle with the Far Rosario, a vital railway hub for the inner regions. Carlos has proclaimed his coup a success, and has assumed the presidency this afternoon after a rousing speech for his followers in Buenos Aires. Promising vast territorial expansion and an end to the Red Terror that plagues Patagonia, he was met with a wave of enthusiasm by the struggling people of his country. It's very difficult to make a big triad. It's very difficult, because if you go triad, like the AI just did, a whole bunch of people get a free declaration of war on you. But it's possible, albeit difficult, to expand. Playing as anyone, you can take over the world. Just, it's very, very hard.
Listen up.
God, this is taking a hot minute. I'm just hoping we can grab anything. Now, I have player-led peace deals on, but I'll try to be fair to the AI. I'll try. The Great Heat Wave is over. People from Vancouver and Los Angeles to New York and DC let out a sigh of relief as the Great Heat Wave in 1936 has come to an end. Now cold front has spread over North America, will become known as the United States' deadliest natural disaster of the 20th century, with an estimated death toll reaching 5,000. But even as the heat wave ends, a new chapter in American history is about to begin. Oh god, this is just butchery. Makwik is losing to Mongolia, kinda, and Tibet, kind of. Alright, we have more dockyards. I'm actually pretty happy about that. We'll just throw them into making more convoys for now. Now, what do I want to do? Cheaper trade convoys. It's not actually a bad time. Simplify. More Marines. That's interesting. Amphibious naval invasion speed. This is actually not useless for us. Maritime industry. Trade convoy, submarine, destroyer, cruiser, armor cruiser. Yeah, this is cool. Faster cruisers. Yeah, let's go down Liberty ships. Our trade convoys will be a little bit cheaper. Our shipyards, previously dedicated to commercial shipping, can easily be converted to produce massive numbers of convoys to supply our allies around the world. Now, I'm going to put in a cut here. I'm going to keep streaming naturally, but I've been streaming and recording for an hour now, so I'm putting in a cut here. If you were watching on Twitch, ain't nothing going to change. If you're watching on YouTube, this is it for today. Until tomorrow, make sure to comment, share, like, subscribe, Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, Alexander and Codex on all of the things. Until then, I'm going to have to say toodaloo, take care, I'll see you then. Bye-bye.